Hey, welcome back to No Prize Podcast. I am the Professor Bud Young, and with me is Lucas. How are you, Lucas?
Hey, I am doing absolutely freaking great, man. Another good weekend to eat something, pour something, and open a few books, crack some books open, and see what's going on in the world of Marvel.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
we're into the late con season. We had you off last week with Baltimore Comic Con, and I'm on assignment at Rhode Island Comic Con this weekend. So, hopefully we'll have some stories for you coming up in the next couple of weeks. I'm be seeing some Marvel, old school Marvel guys. So.
yeah, man, you are a street soldier that you're there at the con, and yet you're still coming up around and doing this, man. So God bless, man. But you're not at a hotel, so I guess that is one difference.
Oh no, no.
Um,
I only live about 45 minutes away from the con, so
oh,
we
still
do
though,
this.
oh,
Yeah.
that's rough. That's rough,
Ah,
man.
nah, nah. I just pack in the car, still get there in time to see everybody. So it's all good.
No, 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 couldn't be me, man. But hey, I had a good time at Baltimore Con. God bless to all the people that came up to me and said hello and freaking told us that hey, Comic Crusaders was doing a good job and recognized me. So I guess I got to change up my my attire from when you guys see me because you guys like, how did you know who it was? Oh, old black guy with a fucking tracksuit on. Yeah, we thought it was you. Like, oh, I guess I gotta I gotta change up my attire. Then, But that's cool, man. Especially the young people. That was amazing, man. I didn't know that we had that much of an impact. So no, God bless, and I can't wait to do it again next year. But now you're at
I'm
Rhode
at
Island.
Rhode Island Comic Con this year, and was just there last night. It was the first night of the con. Not as many people as I expected. I mean, it was a Friday, but
Yeah.
it was nice walking around and seeing a lot of the celebrities that were there, and that they weren't afraid to get back out. There was a lot of the comic creators are afraid of COVID still, so there were a lot of them. Everybody's wearing
Yes.
masks. The Rhode Island Comic Con has a rule that you have to have a mask on when you're in the con.
Yeah.
So that's especially when you want to talk to your favorite creator and they're sitting there with the masks on. It's like you don't really even recognize them, but um, it's good to be out there. Good to see these people we haven't seen in a year, 2 years now. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the rest of the weekend to get some good plans. I hosted a couple of panels last night. Um, we had a Mark Gruenwald retrospective
Oh,
career retrospect panel. We also did a Don McGregor interview.
nice.
So everybody. I love Don. I interviewed Don a couple of years ago at the same con. And he's always a great time. I love the people that I only have to ask 3 questions to, and he talks for the rest of the time. So he's
Just going on and
he's
on and on, baby.
got so many stories. He's such a great interview. I could talk to him all day long. So
Or you just
uh,
listen to them all day long. That's what it really is, man.
yeah, he's and like he kind of knows what you want to hear, so he'll just pivot and go right to the next thing, and it is
Okay.
what it is.
So okay, so you're going back today, right?
Yeah.
And today is Saturday, and what I noticed is that, and this is more likely to be true, is that on Saturday there was definitely a lot more people than there was on Friday, right?
Yes, that's what I'm expecting.
So I need you to take an active count because this is what I was doing at Baltimore Con, like how like cosplay, like
Hmm.
are the people cosplaying and what are they cosplaying as? You don't have to say okay, this particular no superheroes versus manga versus like other random freaking random character that you didn't freaking know. And if you didn't just take some photo or just do whatever, right?
Yeah.
But that is something I'm definitely interested in because I did take note of that at the Baltimore Con, and it was definitely more manga to anything. Now the interesting thing was, and because you had just noted that a lot of the writers and artists had not shown up because of the COVID thing, right?
Yeah.
Which makes sense to me.
Very thin
Now,
this year. Yeah.
yeah, but the ones that did show up at Baltimore Con, there was some indie artists and writers. Now, the one that did show up, it had probably the best table, the biggest table, or the most people showing up to the table consistently, Friday through Sunday, was Trish Forstner. So for those who don't know that who that is, she was an artist that has previously worked on the My Little Pony series and currently the Stray Dog series, which has an art style that is very reminiscent of some of the old Disney animation, right?
Okay.
So yeah, so it is her stuff and it's Tony Fleek's stuff is very on fire, and they're getting ready to do a second effort on that one. Now the most interesting thing was that the people that were showing up at our table, they weren't the regular neckbeards, right? The regular spectators, who were just freaking I'm going to turn this, flip this for 200. No, there were very earnest fans there, not just from the old guys, but from young women, and some of the young women that were into the manga cosplay. So that to me means there is a definite crossover and genres over there happening, and that's definitely something that the impact of seeing that line of people that were in there for her impacted me so much that I went home and I bought um, that first issue for $120. And if I see one out there at 98 for 200 bucks, I'm definitely going to spend the money on that one. So that is definitely something to keep an eye on. As Monk as I've seen Marvel definitely hitting out on the manga stuff and that animation style, but people are loving that old Disney animation style.
Hmm.
So that's something to keep an eye on.
Oh, so like a Carl Barks kind of stuff, like Uncle Scrooge or Mickey
The
Mouse,
so
or
so so think about Bambi.
got it,
The
got it,
nice clear lines, the nice beautiful background animation, that type of stuff. The Lady and the Tramp
got it.
type of animation, that type of stuff.
Oh, okay,
Right? Yeah.
cool.
So in the meantime, let's get into some news real quick. Um,
Yeah, you showed me some stuff that I didn't even know was going on.
yes, sir. Jim Carrey. There's a leak out there claiming that Jim Carrey is getting ready to be announced as MODOK in the MCU. Now that's pretty interesting because what I thought he was pretty successful as Sonic the Hedgehog, but apparently a lot of people didn't like it. So there's been some consternation between him and the direction, the producers, and everything. So at some point, I guess they're like, you know what, screw it. He's like, let's do something else. So he is going to possibly, and I think this actually makes sense for him, play MODOK in the MCU. What say you, sir?
I'm saying what the heck happened to Patton Oswalt, who played MODOK in the animated series, and I think would make a perfect MODOK in the MCU. I mean, he even get the kind of look. All you have to do is take his head, and yeah, you don't even have to stretch it out. He's already got a big head.
Well, see, the thing is, he's a great sound artist, but as far as body movements, it's not so good, right?
Yeah,
So, absolute great sound, great joy to see him and hear him on stage. But as far as visually, you got to go with the man here, the big man, Jim Carrey.
yeah, because facial expressions will be key, and Jim Carrey's the king. So
Mhm.
yeah, I get it,
Now,
I get it. Makes sense.
and then let's see, Doctor Who. So for those that don't know, the crossover between Doctor Who and Marvel is that one of the first comic books that he ever had out was Marvel Premiere number 57, right? So people forget that.
Oh,
Um, so what's happening is that right now, the rights for Doctor Who are going away from BBC after 60 years, right? The whole time BBC is on the rights. The reason why their rights are going away from it is because the current director, Russell T Davies, told them in the beginning, "Hey, I'm not going to work on this unless you give me the rights to do Doctor Who." After like 2 or 3 years, right? So now those 3 years are up, and they're going to Bad Wolf Productions, right? Which is his little company, right? That he does, and they've got a lot more architecture and stuff to do stuff with Doctor Who, which will be great. Interesting thing is that Bad Wolf is currently under negotiations to get sold to Sony, and that's
really?
huge. Yes, sir. That's
So that means we
huge.
could have like Doctor Who feature films
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
tied into the Marvel universe.
Yes, sir. Now every year they always have some type of feature, like a Christmas feature, featuring like Doctor Who and like, hey, what he did for Christmas. Christmas has always been big for him. But this could be huge because with Sony going into this right now, you get access to bigger and better actors to do Doctor Who. You get access to bigger and better architecture, and more of an international audience with this.
Hmm.
This is going to be absolutely huge for Doctor Who. So that's why I tell people, hey, no, go back, think about getting this freaking comic book. I know a lot of people shun it because once again, it's not even really his first appearance comic book. There's also the Doctor Who Weekly magazine, right? That's out there. Um, but the one that is his original comic book, and this was a comic book strip, it was part of a comic book strip from TV Comic Magazine number 674 from 1964. And it was featured weekly in
Hmm.
the Speaking comic book. So it's not like, oh, it was a one time thing. No, it was featured weekly in that. So, but the thing is that's just one of those that doesn't come up for auction very much. So if you do come across this, if you do, even I don't care if it costs $5,000, you definitely got to think about buying this one because this is a part of history.
Hmm.
Prior to Star Wars,
Right.
prior to Star Trek, this was the science fiction joint that was out there. So
Yeah.
people forget about that, and this is how I know that there's something rotten in Denmark when it comes to speculators, is that there's all this other stuff that people are not recognizing, either this or this as something that people should be picking up. This one you can pick up for like $20. It's crazy.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah, for now. And then Penguin Random House. That is the distributor for currently Marvel books right now. A year ago, they actually tried to buy Simon Schuster, right? And the only thing that was stopping them was the antitrust laws. Well, DOJ says they are now officially stepping in to make sure that doesn't happen. Viacom CBS originally tried to sell Simon Schuster to PRH for 2.18 billion, which would have been great for them because they owe a lot of money right now. And Viacom is getting ready to get sued as well. The DOJ is saying that the merger would be 50%, but when you look at the other numbers that have been put out for a while now, the market share will only shoot out to like around 34%, because they actually have 25% and 9%, and that's from MBT. Unless there's some other numbers out there that they're doing. That's what. Now, what's interesting is that the numbers that they are using and have been fed to them by HarperCollins, right?
Hmm.
Or they because I actually read the statement, right? And they're using some of the statements that I've seen HarperCollins put out. And HarperCollins is actually owned by it's the second largest publisher out there, and it's actually owned by News Corp, right? So I think that's kind of interesting is that they're using their rivals' statements to run me this up,
Hmm.
even though the numbers just don't match up with what they say it's saying, right? So that's the one thing. And then the last thing for the news is that look,
Hmm.
um, shout out to one of my cohorts, Mel V, who told us about Madam Slay. He's been saying Madam Slay is coming, Madam Slay. He's been saying that for like 3 years. Well, now she is coming. And I was like, well, even if she is coming, like, dude, is she going to be? Well, Tiana Taylor. She put out on Instagram, and this is what she looks like. So I think after this there's definitely going to be more interest in what's going on with her. I don't know after the Black Panther movies, and whether how long she's really going to be in the MCU. But I can tell you this: a lot of young ladies are going to be interested, and guys are going to be interested in what's going on with this costume. I'll tell you that.
Well, this funny thing is that when I was talking to Don McGregor last night, he was the one that told me that Madam Slay was going to be the the bad guy in Black Panther 2, and he was kind of proud about that. And I was like, oh, it's like that was breaking news for me, and now here it is. It must have just popped yesterday. So,
No, it's been for at least a year now that we've been talking about Tiana Taylor. But once again, not no disrespect to her as an actress, but I had no idea like how it was going to pan in or look like and everything. That's always the big fear. It's like, okay, can I really see her as as this particular character? And this one right here,
oh
yes,
yeah,
sir.
yep.
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna shut up, and I'm not gonna care nothing about whatever's going on in the movie. I'm just
Well,
gonna sit there and eat my popcorn.
she don't need to be acting.
Hey, here she is. So let's. Did you want to take a break right now?
Yeah,
What do we
yeah,
got?
yeah. We can
Do
take a
something else.
quick break. Let's do Jink Think Tank.
That's
Yeah.
exciting, man. I want to play. Jeez.
I'm like, my kids tried to teach me how to play Magic once. So, yeah. So are we jumping into comics now? Because
Absolutely, sir.
let's talk Darkhawk. Darkhawk #3 dropped this week. One of the few books, because this is a kind of a light week for Marvel. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Um, and this is like Kyle Higgins writing, one on Ramirez on the pencils, Eric Garciniga colors, right?
Yes, sir.
So this book, so this is a new Darkhawk, right? This is who's the dude? His name is Connor Young.
Yep.
And he is the new Darkhawk. Now, what's funny is I don't know if you remember last year, but they had a one shot with Chris Powell still as Darkhawk, written by Danny Fingeroth, and nowhere in there was there this rumor that there might be a new Darkhawk coming down the pike, right?
Right. Right.
And now this one here, Connor Young, and this is a different. It's a weird kind of not weird because this is typical Marvel, right? So you have the challenge for this hero is that he's been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, right? So this
Yeah.
is kind of a book with a message. But other than that, this Connor Young, 17-year-old basketball prodigy, being probably heavily recruited by colleges and stuff, and he gets dropped this Darkhawk armor, and now he's going to try to figure out how to live with this. But also, when he's not Darkhawk, he's suffering from a debilitating disease, and in this particular issue, it's the aftermath of Connor's best friend Derek, who gets murdered by I believe it's drug dealers, as it usually is, right? Because of what they're into, and now Connor is trying to figure out who murdered his best friend. And that's kind of creating the conflict. There's still a lot of mystery going on with how did he get the armor or why did he get it, and he doesn't know the capabilities of it. He's not really sure like what's going on. There are other people that are after him because they want the armor.
Mm-hmm.
And that is kind of creating the conflict here. And he runs into, at the end of this issue, what looks like a little cyborg supergroup, and I don't know what they're called, but there's like 4 or 5 of them. But now Darkhawk has to face the bad guys with Miles Morales coming in to swoop in, because you can't sell a book without a Spider-Man these days.
Yeah. See, that's exactly what it made me think about this, man. I was like, okay, is this like his Secret Six or something like that? Sinister Six?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I mean, they all look cool, and I didn't think that I was ready for another Darkhawk book, right? And being acquainted with Danny Fingeroth, and he was fighting to be to continue Darkhawk with him as a writer. Like he wanted to work. And so like as of last year, I kind of thought there might be something going on with Darkhawk with Danny at the helm. And then when I saw this, I was like, wait, so they decided to bring back Darkhawk, but with a totally different creative team and a totally different direction than when I was thinking. So It is interesting. The first issue I thought was kind of slow, but now we're at the third issue, and I'm kind of buying into this the whole story, the drama of it a little bit. The fact that he is, suffering from multiple sclerosis almost kind of feels like the Tony Stark and Iron Man thing from like 50 years ago when Tony
Sure,
had to
sure,
keep
sure.
the armor on, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and so
exactly.
I can
Good,
see kind
good
of,
analysis. Yeah,
yeah, I could kind of see where this is going, where it's going to be to the point where Connor is going to have to keep the armor on, right?
yeah,
And
exactly.
so it's an interesting, I think, dynamic with the disease that he has not really kind of having a cure, right? Because I know that that's what they want to focus on is, there are a lot of people out there with MS, and to be able to kind of maybe put an accurate light on this, because I know that that's what Marvel's doing now is kind of, you have to be sensitive to the people suffering from this. So they have to kind of do an accurate portrayal of him suffering from this, but while also having superpowers. So, hey, you know, I think it's going to be an interesting read. Um, I hope that they don't magically cure him.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Because
exactly.
that's a cop out. You
It's a
can't
cop out, right?
Yeah, you can't give him MS and then have him have like the alien technology in his armor heal him. So I hope that that's not what's on the horizon. But it's going to be an interesting ride. I kind of bought into to Connor's character, not in the first issue, but subsequently. So I'm interested to see where this is going, and I hope they keep up the quality because the artwork by Juan Ramirez has been pretty good too. What do you think?
Look, the script so far has been absolutely great, right? And once again, this is a 17-year-old kid, so this is who this is supposed to be focused for, right? It's not necessarily for us. We kind of get it, right? Because this is the type of dire stuff that people our age, this type of stuff that we're living. Hey, we're getting ready to have some type of critical illness or debilitating disease that's getting ready. But this is a 17-year-old kid that's getting ready to face this part of his life so doggone early. So I'm absolutely living that, right. He's 17 now, and usually, by the time these kids are like 20 or 21, they're in a wheelchair, right? Because
Yep.
from bottom down is by the time these kids hit 30, it's total paralysis, right? And then by
Yep.
the time they're 50, usually that's when they pass away. So it's not going to be a quick death necessarily, but it's definitely going to be a slow death, and it's going to be interesting to watch how Marvel handles that and goes forward, right? So I'm
Mm.
absolutely the concept. I'm loving the way they're handling it so far. Yes, the dialogue is a little junky, but the parts that is junky is because it's trying to slow it down for the reader and make sure we get to understand
Yeah.
how bad this could be, right? And I absolutely agree with you. I hope they don't cop out. Don't heal the kid. Let's
Yep.
see what's going on. If you want to give me diversity, give me the real problems about diversity, because I've talked about this before. Okay, you give me a different character, you make her female or you make them black, whatever, but you don't walk me through how that affects that person's character or their superhero character going forward. You got to do this for Darkhawk, right? And
Hmm.
and so, for instance, and here's where I love the dialogue, right? This is where true script writing comes in, right? He's walking us through what's going through his mind as he's sitting in the doctor, right?
Yeah.
That is a very integral part, right? They didn't just pick up the phone and tell us, hey, the guy's sick. Okay, well, no, they walked us through the doctor's appointment where he asked, what happens if I do some physical activity, right? Like, am I able to do any type of physical activity? Does that make it worse? What about flying? like, I, and you can see where he's going with this. You know, and that was really great stuff. The other stuff is a little junky and everything, but once again, I agree with that. So that for me was great too. So context, great. Dialogue was great. The villain stuff with the villain stuff, eh, it's like I really didn't need it at that point. You had already
Right.
done your job. They already did their freaking job. I didn't need the villain stuff for me to freaking be interested in reading number four.
Yeah.
Other than
I
okay, he's got some villains now. No,
I like the introduction of some villains, and it looks like new villains and not like old, like the Wrecking Crew, like we used to complain about all the time.
yeah,
So it's I'm interested in to see how they're actually going to tie into the story. So we'll see because they are like it looks like four brand new villains. So
yeah,
I'm sure they're related. They're related to the story in some
some
form or
way,
fashion.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then and then he gets his butt whooped the first time out, and now he's meeting up with Miles Morales. So once again, I did like that. I was actually pleasantly surprised at that. I don't know whether it was that I was drinking too much or I was like, oh, that's cool.
Hmm.
And this, get me thinking like, okay, because now now there's the possibility that at some point he might join the champions, right? Make that whole thing a little bit more interesting. So, no, look, I can't say nothing about bad about Darkhawk right now. I like where it's going. Um, a little perturbed that look, it's great that he has villains now. It just wasn't needed in this issue, but I'll allow it. It's such a good and interesting thing that they're doing with this character.
Hmm.
Because look, this is not the first time that they've had a character with some type of critical illness or the debilitating disease, right?
Right.
But this is the first time that in my tenure of reading all this stuff that I get to walk along the process um, with him and see how everything's going. That's why I'm loving this. This
Hmm.
is this is one of those where it might have been better if they cut the price and then do a 2 week every two
Yeah.
weeks. And we just check in on them and see what's going on. I would allow that one.
Has there been any movement on the first issue?
No,
No.
no,
Hmm.
no, because it didn't necessarily hit right. Um, People are like, okay, there's this new kid, but they don't know how. Once again, until people until they hear the news that this kid is going to be like adapted to a TV series or a movie, they're not going to swing on this one. But
Well,
I warned
which is
everybody.
what's this is it's gonna happen, right? I mean, this is
Yes.
this kind of a script with this kind of a plot is like tailor made for like a Disney Plus kind of
So
TV
right. So
series.
right. So I warned everybody last night, like, hey, um, I have never seen as many things that have been happening in a comic book series as has been happening and has been adapted into the movies or the TV series as quickly as right now. So, for instance, I told everybody about the Black Widow series, right? And the fact that they just had the current Black Widow series, the current Black Widow series #1, where they introduce everybody to her husband and son, and
Yep.
then immediately in the Black Widow movie they talked about that, right? That is a quick turnaround,
Yep.
right? Where they're not necessarily, but hey, and then in the current Eternals movie, right? There is several scenes that regard right back into the current Eternals series that's ongoing,
Hmm.
right? That stuff is in there. That is, and I'm not talking about somebody talk about it. There are characters in there that have already made it into the movie already. So that is quick, because usually it takes about 6 or 7 years
Right.
for that stuff.
Right.
No, it is
Yeah.
quick
So
turnaround. When I
they're
talk,
working
yeah,
hand in hand with Hollywood and
yeah,
you know.
because that was one of my big complaints about the Black Panther series, right? And say, okay, you got us reading, you got us watching this movie, and everybody thought it was great. But then when I turn around to
Black
go
Panther's
to,
in space.
yeah, I go to the freaking comic book shop and it's in space. So what I am saying is that look for Dark Hawk, this particular Dark Hawk, to make it into either some type of TV series, movie soon within the next year or two.
Yeah.
And then but people don't want to listen.
Yeah.
They
Well,
rather collect third or fourth prints of some BS freaking comic book thing. But I digress. I love this one.
yeah. I mean, and this is, I mean, like you said, this is definitely a Disney Plus plot. So,
Yes, this is gonna be awesome.
all right,
This is diversity. This is the diversity that we need. I'm just saying.
correct.
Hmm.
All right. So what's up next? We have Daredevil.
Yeah. What did you think of Daredevil? So
This is
this
the
is
kind of the wrap up to the storyline. Yeah,
yes, sir.
a little bit.
So this is the wrap up where no Bullseye um, has been causing all types of chaos throughout the city. He's getting ready to kill everybody. When I say everybody, I mean everybody. He's trying to kill everybody. It's him and like two other, like actually three other freaking bullseyes creating havoc. So Elektra masquerading as Daredevil has been trying to trap him, bring him out so she can freaking kill him, whatever. But what's very kind of interesting in this particular one, and where actually has been for the last two, is that what's her name, Mary Todd? I forget what her name. What's her
Oh,
freaking name?
Typhoid Mary.
Yeah, Typhoid Mary.
Yeah.
Um, on her own decided to dress up as Daredevil as well. So she was actually kind of parts of the storyline as well. And this one, well, in the last one they figured out that hey, um, they were able to subdue two of the bullseyes, but there's another one out there left. He's doing his thing. And then they're eventually able to do the whole thing, but there's a lot of interesting. The dialogue was really interesting in this one. Look, and then at the very end, and I know it's a spoilers, but it's been coming for a while.
Yeah.
Kingpin uh, asked Typhoid Mary to marry him. It was like oh, but kind of creepy as well. Like I was like I don't, he's a big dude, and Typhoid Mary. I don't know, man, freaking. But I do. It's the type of romance that was very interesting and creepy, but look, so for instance, you got the hulking and the Wiccan thing, right?
Yeah.
That's a romance thing that I feel like they kind of sprung on us and came out of nowhere. And they've been trying to develop it as we go along, and that's fine, right? But it is still not hitting yet. But this Kingpin thing and the Typhoid Mary thing, yes, they sprung that on us too. But I feel like when I read the dialogue, I really feel it in there, right? Like, okay, type,
Yeah.
yeah, Kingpin, he's a crazy ass dude, and this is his plaything at the moment, but he deeply feels like he loves somebody. I get that.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. I resonate with that. Yep, you're just a crazy old dude, freaking, you're a creepy old dude, fucking honing on it. Gotcha. So that is the element that is missing in a lot of the Marvel stuff where you got these relationships, but there's not really that romance there. You're not really sure where it comes from and everything. But this particular romance, I'm feeling. But in the meantime, also inside the prison, Matt, who's just been through his whole ordeal where he found out the experiment, and now he decided that he wants out.
Right.
Apparently, I think he should have just stayed in there. But now he's like, oh yeah, I went out now. Okay,
I just
that's
wondered if the quality of the book is going to go down with Matt out of jail.
it is.
Yeah.
It is because I kind of got used to Elektra as Daredevil. I thought it was great. Um, I I felt like her motivations was awesome. I was able to draw the lines that okay, this is her motivation. She really feels like she has a sense of urgency of what she needs to do and why she needs to do it. When I can see the goals of a character that clearly, and they know what they got to do, and they got it, and it's against their natural nature, and they're all about it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Hmm.
Um, the muddleness of Matt being in prison, of why he was in prison, and the muddleness of that resonates with me as well. Him
Hmm.
just sitting there trying to bide his time. Yep, I got you. Man, is look, Zdarsky just has been doing a real great job with Daredevil, an
Yep.
absolutely freaking great job, man. So that's all I can say. Plus the art, look at that comic book art, man. Come
Yeah.
on now, that's a great freaking cover. I don't care what nobody says, man.
It's this whole run has been really good. It's been one of the highlights of Marvel the last couple of years. Has been Chip Starsky's run on Daredevil. It's one of those runs that when it does come to an end, you're gonna want to go back and reread it to get the full impact. I think this storyline has been one of the strongest storylines in Daredevil in years. And that's saying something because the last several years of Daredevil have been really, really good. But this one, yeah, this one with Elektra is running around as Daredevil, and you have Typhoid Mary throwing on a Daredevil costume too to take on many clones of Bullseye. As this one villain that I like hope they would never clone is Bullseye, because it makes him so much more dangerous. And then with the villainy of Kingpin always kind of in the background, always kind of just scheming and kind of like having his little plot lines move slowly down the river there. I enjoyed this greatly, and I think with Matt busting out of jail and now a wanted man, to have at the end when the cops try to apprehend him, the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man just saying, "Hey, slow your roll. This guy just saved the city."
Yeah.
That never happens, right? That's usually like, okay, well, Daredevil's going to go back to jail, but not this time, right? So he had like all the heroes come out, step up for him, and I thought that was pretty cool, because we haven't seen a lot of guest stars in this book other than Elektra, right? So
Right.
now you just kind of let's throw Reed Richards in there to vouch for Matt, and Spider-Man to vouch for Matt, even though Spider-Man's not the best person to be vouching for anybody, but um, I enjoy this book immensely, and I don't want it to ever end. I wish Chip Zdarsky would just write Daredevil forever, but something tells me that his run might be winding down.
Yeah. It's got to, and I do think that the way it's winding down is good. Um,
Yeah,
let's just leave it like that, man. The way it's been winding down has been good.
yeah.
The whole run's been good. There's nothing less to say. So let's keep it moving.
So how
Yeah.
has Daredevil as a whole been?
Speculation wise,
Yeah. Has people been buying into the run and causing a spike, or
nope,
no?
nope,
Really?
nope,
Okay.
nope. No, even with the rumors that eventually he will be making it to the MCU, there has not been any significant spike, right? And that's because Netflix kind of killed it, right? They had a
Hmm.
good thing going, and then all of a sudden they killed it. Like,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they
like,
definitely did.
like it's one of those things. It's like if you got it if you already had it when they made the news, you made your money. But if you bought it after thinking that Daredevil was going to be a solid part of the MCU going forward, you lost your money. So hopefully, a lot of people made their money and got out. But I know
Hmm.
there's a lot of people that are holding now. Elektra might be a good one to hold on. Anything Kingpin, that'll be a good thing to hold on to going forward. But right now, Daredevil is not where it's at. So
Huh. That's interesting, because I would throw Daredevil up there along with Immortal Hulk as the two best books that Marvel had been putting out in the last couple of years. So
absolutely, absolutely. You would have thought, right? But
yeah,
no,
yeah. So
no, 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 no. All right. Let's see what we got. Next one, and I know you might not have paid more that much attention to this one. This one was Winter Guard. The reason why I did want to discuss this one just a little bit
yeah, tell me
is,
why you want to talk about Winter Guard.
well, vampires, right? So I've always honed in onto vampires because I always say, hey, there's always a trend when it comes to this stuff, right? There's always, hey, there's a vampire trend, and then okay, now the trend is zombies. Now the trend is Frankenstein monsters. So now the trend was vampires, and they kind of went off it for a little bit. Now they're back, right?
Yeah,
This is after the whole thing about you know Dracula kills off like half the vampire population, but moves the ones that are loyal to him to Chernobyl, right?
yeah,
In the meantime, Blade, who was supposed to be the sheriff of this little nation of vampires, but I guess he's being distracted with the whole Darkhold mess right now.
unfortunately.
Yes, sir. So Chernobyl is still, uh, you know, it's technically under Russian oligarchy control, right?
Yep.
Um, so I mean, it's in it, but it's whatever. So Dracul invites the Winter Guard, which is the Russian Avengers, to his castle so they can discuss something. And it's not just the Avengers; it's another guy named Perun, who's like the Eastern. He's like an East Slavic version of
Yeah.
Thor, right? So this guy, I forgot who this guy was. I had to look him up, right? So um, but he's there as well. Now the premise is, they all go there. There's vampires like all over the freaking place, but no, Draco has given them safe passage. They sit down, and then Draco turns to one of them and says, "All right, hey, here's this hard drive that you gave to me." And he says in front of everybody, "Hey, here's the secret hard drive you gave me. What do you want me to do with it?" Just waving it around. Right? And he's like, "Well, I kind of wanted you to keep it safe, but you know what? I'll take it back now, right?" And they're like, "Well, what's on the hard drive?" Well, it's all these secrets, right? Secrets that could destroy the world, that'll bring down governments, uh, unleash havoc on billion and all this stuff. And they're like, "Well, hold on, let's talk about this unleashing this hard drive." They know there's nothing to talk about. So no, Draco freaking turns to, I think it's the Red Guardian, and says, "All right, well, I'm going to give it to you anyway." So there's that thing. So he and Villanova, which is the White Widow, they peace out. They free. So now that's unleashing an all type of new havoc, not vampires, but you know what the heck is on this hard drive that is so important, right? Because this is what we know the Russians to do, right? We know
Hmm.
that they are collectors of intelligence, right? All the type of intelligence that can wreak havoc to governments all around the world. Now, the Red Guardian wants to bring Russia back to this its prominence by unleashing these secrets, right? This is almost like comic book propaganda, right? We're just sitting right here. It's like trying to prep our minds that there's something going on, right? So
Hmm.
I tell you what, I like it. I like the context of what they're going to do, Mister Ryan Cady, right? Um, but it better be good. Don't
Yeah.
set me up, and it just sucks, right? You got me interested with the whole vampire thing. You got me interested in the whole Russian Avengers thing, and what was not needed was the whole backstory with the Red Guardian. It went too long in the teeth on that one. There was too much dialogue, but I do like the concept.
Hmm.
But they better bring it home. They better have some big secrets that they're going to reveal in this one.
Well, that was, I actually thought this was a good idea for a book at this point in time because of the vampires taking over Chernobyl with Blade becoming the sheriff. I was like, yeah, maybe Russia might have something to say about that, you
Yeah,
know, and and then having the Winter Guard actually come out and kind of be that group and have to operate in this vampire nation is interesting. And these characters have been around for decades and they've never really been fleshed out. So I kind of like the idea of having a book that focuses on who these people are. And
mm,
Darkstar has been around since the 70s and they never really have, anything to say about her. And of course, Red Guardian and Red Widow and Ursa Major has been
yeah,
around forever too. So it's good to see these characters other than once every 10 years. Just as the superhero goes to Russia and runs into the Winter Guard, you
yeah,
know. So this is
exactly.
actually pretty good. This is one of the things that are coming out from the diversity and inclusion initiative that I like. Let's focus on some already established characters that are diverse, you know, and use them. Focus on them. I think this is a good book.
That's the way it should be, right?
Yeah,
True diversity,
yeah,
true
yeah,
diversity, right? And you get to see what they think and how what their motivations are and how eventually that affects the rest of the world. This is great, good stuff, right?
yeah.
Let's see. Well, that's all have to talk about regarding books. Let us roll quickly into the FOC stuff. This is stuff that you should be able to go to your local FOC, your local comic book shop. Tell them, hey, I please, please, please order this stuff, and then hopefully they can get it to you if it's not too late, or if they've already ordered, you should be able to put it into your pull box coming soon. And this is well, I'm just gonna run over the Marvel stuff. Adventures Forever #1. The one to the far right is the 1 to 25 cola. A lot of people actually like the second one to the left. That's the Scalera, and then the one in the middle. That's a Daughterman. That's one with the mini Wandas.
Is that Silk on the cover with the rest of the Avengers
Talking about the
on the second cover?
on this, yes, it is.
Yeah, she's not an Avenger, but maybe she is.
Maybe she will be. Uh huh.
I like that all Scarlet Witch variant. That's cool.
Got one man,
And
Red Hulk. Yeah.
I can't
Ross.
make out a lot of the characters on the Avengers Forever cover, the first one. Is that Speed? I see Speedball in the corner there. That's interesting.
Let's see. Where are we at? Where are we at? Okay. Okay.
That would be cool if you could blow that cover up so I can see all the different characters in there. Why are they led by Ant-Man?
Let's see. We're in front. Here we go. Can you see it now?
No, the one on the left, the big
The
one,
one.
not the big
Oh,
one.
oh,
The
oh. Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
that
Gotcha.
one.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yep. And then
Yeah,
maybe this one. Here we go.
yeah. Look at all those characters. Some of these guys aren't Avengers. I'd say most of these guys aren't Avengers. This looks like a multiversal type Avengers, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it looks like some alternate reality versions of some of these Avengers. It looks like is that Black Goliath in the back?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
There's like 3 different Thors in here.
Okay. Yeah. Hercules, Black Knight, Vision. Oh, is that Captain Marvel in her Captain Marvel suit? Like the Monica Rambeau?
Yep.
Oh,
It's not Captain Marvel. I forget what the name of that one particular one is.
well, Photon, but I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but I mean, but that's her Captain Marvel outfit, not her Photon outfit.
No, I think that's the Photon outfit. That's the Photon one.
Okay. I can't. I'm trying to squint to see it, and that's definitely Captain Carter from What If above Ant-Man's right shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So okay. So this is going to be this is going to be a multiversal type Avengers book, right? So we'll see a lot of Avengers we're not used to seeing. So
Should be interesting.
yeah, which characters do you think make the jump into the 616 and actually join the Avengers?
So don't get me started, Ben, because that's how Miles Morales got there, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Miles Morales is not from the 616. He's from an alternate universe.
yeah. He's from
And
the
then he,
Ultimate Universe. Yeah.
yeah. So man, and then you got the female Loki and the one on the 125 on the right. So yeah, man, this could
Yeah,
be
with
interesting.
female Thor. Yeah. Oh, that's an all female Avengers, except for oh no, even the Wasp is looks like Nadia Pym.
Sir.
All
Uh,
right, cool, cool.
yep. Black Widow number 13. Everybody was copping on the cover A, Adam Hughes. They were like, "How is that an open order? That is not incentive. That is an open order." And it is probably one of the covers of the year. Just a great freaking cover.
Mm,
People are loving this one. So I'm gonna have to order like
nice.
50 of these.
Now, is that the next issue of Black Widow? Is that the last issue? Because I heard Black Widow's run was winding down, or was it Black Cat? Black Cat is
Maybe Black
actually
Cat.
done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think Black Widow, according to the story, it's got quite a while to go before it resolves anything.
Okay. It was Black Cat.
Yes, sir. Captain America, Iron Man number 2. I love that Iron Man to the right.
That Alex Ross.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Darkhold, Spider-Man number 1. I kind of like it, but I'm staying away from. I'm not gonna get that many, and I even like the one in the middle.
Well, Darkhold hasn't been helped by the Blade issue, which was horrible, and
Yeah,
you know, I don't. The story's a little I don't know.
it's terrible. Absolutely terrible, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like the Iron Man one, but the Blade one was not that great, so I don't really hold out hope for the rest of them.
Amazing Spider-Man. People kind of like the one to the right, which is like Gleason, and then that Devil's Reign villain variant is in the middle is kind of intriguing because if you look closely, it's a mixture in between like a Spider-Man or excuse me, a Spider-Gwen and
Yeah.
Bullseye.
Yeah, that's interesting. Huh.
Death of Doc Strange. The thing that was interesting about this one is that the solicit ask who will be the new Sorcerer Supreme. So we don't know if there's going to be a new character or some of the older characters that have been established are going to be the new Sorcerer Supreme. And then how long are they going to be a Sorcerer Supreme?
Huh. Who do you think it's going to be?
Man, there's been so many, been so many Sorcerer Supremes in the last 2 years. Loki has been a Sorcerer Supreme. Iron Man has been a Sorcerer Supreme, man.
Yeah, brother,
Uh,
wasn't Brother Voodoo the most recent Sorcerer Supreme?
Probably.
Yeah,
So
I think
like,
I think so. So yeah, it's just it's just weird. But I mean I tend to think that it's going to be the the librarian girl that's been running around as a supporting character in Doctor Strange for the last couple of years. His understudy. You
yeah.
know, I think that's
If
who
it
it's going to
is,
be.
yeah, if it is, people are going to want to pick that up. But problem is how long would she stay that as
Not
Sorcerer
long
Supreme?
because I think Doctor Strange is one of those characters that you can't permanently replace, right? So,
Right.
um,
Yeah.
but that man, they're shoving Black Knight down our throats still, though, huh? Death of
Hmm.
Doctor Strange, X Men, Black
Yep.
Knight.
Yep. Even though they said that he's not, he was supposed to be in Eternals, but his character, like his alter ego made it, but Black Knight did not make it. So, um,
Hmm.
Devil's Reign #2, people were loving that, and Yuck Lee to the right,
Hmm.
and then people are also trying to tone in because people love Mark Chichetto, but I don't think that one to the far left is all that great.
Is that the Taskmaster one? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't. I've seen better.
Yeah. The Hawkeye Kate Bishop #2, people are loving that Stephanie Hans to the right.
Yeah, that looks good. I like both of them. Why this is kind of what bugs me about Hawkeye was why did they have to denote that it's Kate Bishop? Because
It's just
they've
it's a code name, right? It's
well,
just a code name.
but it also looks like Clint's on the cover too, right? So
Mm.
I mean, and obviously even if it's going to focus on Kate, that Clint is going to be in it in some capacity. So if they could just call it Hawkeye or even Hawkeyes, just whatever. But it's it's cool. I mean, I like Kate as a character, and I think you know they've done this enough with Miles Morales being Spider-Man as well as Peter Parker being Spider-Man. They could do both, but you know, whatever.
King Conan #1's got quite a few covers. The one that's going to be the big one is going to be the 150 incentive Alex Leave. That's the one to the far right. People are kind of loving the Sakai joint, which is this one right here in the middle. Marguerite Sauvage has got one, and I forget who this one. This is the Staco. Oh, excuse me. This one right up here. That's the Staco 1 to 25.
Hmm.
Actually, excuse me. That's the Garcin. That's a Garcin, and then this one right here. That's the 1 to 25. But some pretty good covers.
This is what one of the things I like about Conan is you could just go straight fantasy, and he's open to interpretation by many different artists. You could pretty much do what you want with him.
And I loved each and every one of these, so I might have to get get some of these. People went absolutely nuts for this last night. Phoenix song Echo #3 that went to the far right. That cover B Chris Pachalo. People are loving this one. And that was even
Hmm.
before I told them about the solicit, which says that Echo meets her maker, the ancestral phoenix of Cahokia. So that's going to be the first appearance of a new character. I don't think she's necessarily going to be there long term, but just the fact that there's this great cover that went to the far right, plus this new character is going to set this one on fire when it comes out.
Hmm. Literally.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Star Wars High Republic Trail of Shadows #3. People are waiting on this one because there's nothing been too big that have gotten the juices flowing on this one. In the meantime, Thor #20. The cover aids, which is by Nick Klein. I don't know who Thor is fighting because I thought he was supposed to be the God of Thunder, but we'll see what's going on with that one. The cover B, that's the one in the middle by Simone Bianchi. And one to the far left, that's a Greg Land Devil's Reign villain variant.
That's a cross between Thor and Grim Reaper. That's pretty cool.
Is it Galactus as well? Or no, there's just Grim Reaper. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Grim Reaper.
Timeless #1, and people are definitely going to look out for this one. Um, the only the only ones that we have art for is There's two of them. Is this one right here, which is 150 by Tom Heck, and then this one, which is going to be the first cover appearance
Huh.
of Miss Time or whatever you
Miss
call it.
Minutes.
Miss Minutes.
That's
There you go.
that'll actually be her first actual comic book appearance, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So people were like, okay, we got to get on that one. Wolverine number 19. The deadliest creature on Krakoa is off its shore. That's what it's going to be about. This is going to be about. In fact, this list says, "Hey, the old man Wolverine and the Sea," which is a homage to the Ernest Hemingway's "The Old Man and the Sea."
Hmm.
Uh, I love. In fact, I really love that one in the middle, that Adam Kubert. But then there are quite a few fans of Edward Gish, which is the one to the far right as well.
Hmm.
X-Men Trial of Magneto number 5. The one in the middle, which just looks pretty good. I let the color scheme by Valero shitty. And then people are loving the one to the far right, which is a Terry Dodson, but that's one is a 1 and 25.
Yeah, I like the Terry Dodson cover too. That's a Dan Jurgens Magneto.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
And then that's all for the ones that are on FOC. See, let's take 3 minutes to do the new release. Oh, yep. Aliens number 8, Sheriff Far. That's the one that's a homage to Whistler's mother. With the alien going inside of her mouth.
That's quite a homage. Yeah.
And then here's the silver variant, which is a 1 in 25. Deadpool Black and White and Blood number 4 is homage to Japanese manga hentai, with the tentacle stuff. Um, if you don't know what hentai is, go look it up, but not at work. Um, look, it's just got all types of stuff going on. Excalibur number 25 has got a Momoko variant going on. The Miles Morales Spider-Man number 32. That's Taryn Clark. And then there's also one by Chris Anka. I love the color scheme by that one, but apparently a lot of people do not.
Hmm.
Star Wars High Republic number 11. This one has already sold out. So if you can find this one, pick it up. That Peach Momoko has already been selling out and selling for double. And this was selling out maybe like over a week ago. So if you see it, definitely try and pick it up.
Hmm.
The Thing number 1, it's got quite a few covers. There's the Knock Headshot variant. Then there is a Lee Bermejo, which is what people really love. That's the one that's, in fact, that one's an open order. But the 1 to 25, people are like, but that one's out there as well. And then I think lastly, Venom number 1. There's quite a few covers for this one. I think that one's the Pacello. Then there's a Peach Momoko, which is possibly the ugliest art she's ever done. But
Huh.
that's her style. It is what it is. Then I forget who did this one. It might be Medina. And then there's the Inhyuk Lee. And this one's the Del. And then the last one is Bill Sienkiewicz, 125.
I like that one.
Sir, that is the best one. So, and then that's all I got, sir.
Wow. A lot of variant covers.
But it's not as bad as it used to be. At least they're not Dynamite.
For sure.
Dynamite's got like 30 covers and the same freaking art.
All right. So that's going to do that for this episode of No Prize Podcast. I have a convention to get to, and we will see you in 2 weeks. And we will be, we'll be around Thanksgiving time. So,
Turkey,
you know,
turkey, day.
yeah, if you can get a turkey for under $100,
Honey and ham,
you'll
man. Check out if
see.
you got
Yeah,
honey and ham where you at. Freaking,
we might do
you better
pot.
get it reserved. You got to get it reserved right now.
We might do a Thanksgiving pot roast or something instead of turkey this year.
Oh, I thought you was gonna say we were going to do a Thanksgiving podcast. I was like, okay, yeah, we can do
Eh.
a Thanksgiving podcast if you want to see me drunk on my ass and freaking. Yeah, we can do that.
We could do that too. We could watch football and just talk comics.
Yeah, I'm all about
So,
it.
all right. So we will see you in 2 weeks. And until then, stay safe.
Out.